good afternoon, good evening, and welcome to our How to Bring a Sustainable Idea to Life in the OR webinar. I'm Josh Stevens, European Marketing Manager and Sustainability Answer Ambassador here at Ansell, who is a personal protective equipment manufacturer and long-term partner of EORNA. Look, we're excited to have you join us today. In this session, we'll hear both from Catherine and Peter, who will introduce themselves in more detail as they present. We'll certainly begin with exploring how operating theatre teams across Europe are driving meaningful change through sustainable practices in the OR, from waste reduction to resource management, adopting smarter workflows, and implementing efficient, environmentally conscious practices, all without compromising patient safety. Then we'll step into an introduction on the EORNA and Ansell Sustainability Project Fund, outlining how the program supports perioperative nurses like yourselves in turning their sustainability ideas into real, measurable impact. So by the end of the session, hopefully you'll know how to get involved and bring your own initiatives to life. Now, before we start, I'd like to walk you through a few of the interactive widgets you can use during the webinar. And the webinar will be recorded, so you and your colleagues can view it at a later time. Now, on the screen, the largest area will feature the slide deck presentation. You'll also find the media player window. This is where our presenters' videos will appear. If you need to adjust the display size of the windows, you may click and drag according to your own preference. Just below the media player is the Q&A section, question and answer. Feel free to type in your questions at any time during the session, and at the end of the webinar, we will address them. And any that we cannot address, we'll follow up with you directly afterwards. You'll notice a resource window. In here, you can find some links to helpful materials available for download. And if you'd like further support from either Ansell or EORNA, simply click Contact Me Back button, and a representative will reach out to you directly. Final note, at the very end, there will be an evaluation form. If you could fill that out, that'd be greatly appreciated, because it helps us to continue to improve for you. So without further ado, I will hand it over to our first presenter, Catherine.
Thank you, Josh. Good evening, colleagues. I'm Katrine Hen. I worked as an operating room nurse for many years. I currently work at the Oslo University Hospital, which is placed in the capital of Norway. And I've also been a board member in EORNA for many years. And right now, I'm the chair of the upcoming Congress in Dubrovnik in May 2026. So let's start. What is sustainability? Sustainability is about passing the world to the next generation in the same condition it was when we received it, and about meeting the needs of the present without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their own needs. It aims to ensure a good life and livelihood for all. And sustainability is often described in three dimensions: the climate and environment, economy, and social conditions. For the climate and environment, conserving nature, protecting ecosystems, and safeguarding biodiversity, reducing greenhouse gas emissions, preserving natural resources for the future. And the economy, creating value and growth in a responsible way, developing and promoting green solutions and technologies, creating jobs and respect people and environment. And then finally, social condition focuses to ensure justice, equality and inclusions, ensuring access to health and education and build societies within equal opportunities. Essentially, sustainability is about balancing the social, environmental and the economic considerations. United Nations Sustainable Development Goals are 17, and it has 169 targets. It serves as a guiding framework for sustainable choices among countries, businesses, organizations, and individuals worldwide. Globally, about 5% of greenhouse gas emission comes from the health sector, with Western countries being the largest contributions. And Green Hospitals is a collaboration of health authorities in Norway with the aim of making the specialist health service contribute in the fight against climate change and environmental degeneration. The initiative is based on the UN Sustainable Development Goals. And Norway has a climate target for 2030 and 2050, and reduction is relative to 1990. For 2030, they want to reduce about 50 to 55, and for 2050, about 90 to 95. And the national goal is to reduce emission from Norwegian hospitals by 50% by 2030. Norway is far from the aim. So far, it's been reduced only about 13% in 2025. Sweden and Denmark are much better than ourselves. They have had achieved cuts about 46 and 38%. So the Norwegian reduction of 13 is not very impressive. So to achieve the target of 2030, Norway has to really work hard. Would like to share some success stories from other EORNA countries. This first one is from Sweden that I just mentioned. They've been doing a good job. Karolinska University Hospital is placed in Stockholm, the capital of Sweden. Operating theatre staff have led the drive to both reduce single-use plastics and increase the reuse of materials such as surgical drapes and apron. Their initiative has cut waste over 200,000 kilos annually and reduced emission from certain single-use items by 85%. And disposable plastic aprons are recycled and used to produce new ones. In 2024, 100,000 circular aprons were used at Karolinska, generating 66% lower carbon dioxide emission, thereby reducing by 15.3 tons. The hospital also fosters sustainability through mandatory staffing and collaborative green wards, and networks managed by health professionals and sustainability officers to share best practices and to increase its environment performance. Some of these stories may inspire you in what you can apply for in this fund. A project can be small or big and will still make a difference. Perioperative nurses are innovative and can be change makers. The next story I'd like to share is one shared by Vivien. She's also board member in EORNA and also the chair of the education committee. She shared this story from the University Clinic in Brussels. They have reviewed custom packs to optimize content. They have eliminated the wall-mounted nitrous oxide systems to reduce greenhouse gas. They use woven surgical scrubs instead of single use. And there are no more single cups in the break room. And it's also recommended and considered to give ibuprofen for sedation instead of sevoflurane, which has a higher environmental impact, and also oral medication in the hospital over IV administration, which produce more waste. They also collect and recycle and single-use staplers and laparoscopic instruments, and they sell waste materials through recycling fund to buy cuddly toys for children to have for children undergoing surgery. You see in the picture. And the next one is shared from Esmeralda Nunes. She's also a board member from Portugal, representing IESOP. And she shared a story that I think is from Marco Sameiro and the Hospital of Praga. They have a reduction of waste production and use of plastic. Humanized approach by replacing plastic bags with personal bags that are made from reused materials. And the direct cost beyond volunteering, non-fabric from surgical kits after validation for reuse. That means that the surgical kits has to be clean, not exposed for fluids, and not torn. And also logistical costs of stores and distribution, cost of printing swan symboling and sewing line. So I will pass it over to Josh, and please just type your questions in the Q&A. I will take a look at it at the end.
Thank you, Catherine. And I think this is the perfect bridge to explain how both Ansell and EORNA got to the point of having a conversation about, we know healthcare is a big contributor in terms of emissions. We know hospitals generate a lot of waste, but not only are they committing this, there's also a ton of really innovative and great ideas that are happening at the ground level with the healthcare workers. So how can we do a better job to try find these, encourage them, and share them with others? Because if we don't widen the stakeholders at the discussion table, we're not going to be able to move forward. So what we came up with was, could we create some type of fund where ideas get submitted, we can identify one, and help support that one becoming real? Now, there's three main themes that we think they can focus on. It's that reducing the carbon footprint, minimizing waste, which you certainly saw in some of those case studies Catherine just shared, but also resource management. And that resource management can be in terms of resource, it could be power or water that they're using, but it also could be resources in terms of, are they actually reducing or reusing something? So you can certainly be innovative about how do you bring an idea that can solve under one of these. Now, the important part to know is the submission deadline is 31st of January 2026. And then after review, we'll be ready with a winner by the March of 2026. And the plan would be to hopefully have that project presented at the EORNA Congress in Dubrovnik in May of 2026. So as a winner, there would be a contribution funding. How can this idea get furthered? But also, how can we sort of explore and expand through the network of EORNA, of Ansell, of who we know, to not only showcase the success, but also hopefully inspire, influence others, but also bring in subject matter experts that might be able to add to the project or to grow it even further. So could there be further collaborations we can bring to it? Certainly something we're excited to sort of explore further with those that come through. So now I'll hand over to Peter to take you through a little bit more of the guides on how to do next steps.
Hi, thank you, Josh. My name is Peter. I'm for the moment a head nurse since 8 years on the PACU in Middelheim Hospital in Antwerp, which is part of the ZAS ziekenhuis aan de Stroom in Antwerp, Belgium. I've been working for since 1988 in the OR, and I had the chance to work on several ORs in the environment of Antwerp. Let me share a video with you. In this video, we try to explain how we, or you, can start a project about sustainability in the OR. So here it comes. Guys, I brought you all together here in our sustainability team just to have a brainstorming about how we can reduce perhaps our waste in the OR. Or I hope you all have some ideas about what we can do more as we do at this moment.
I'm Annelies Kastelein, I'm the sustainability manager.
Okay.
My name is Christian Merks and I'm an anesthesiologist at the system.
Okay.
I'm a surgical nurse or
We already do since a few months is the reusable blood pressure cuffs.
Also, what do people find acceptable? Because now we talk about reusable BP cuffs, but there was a time we only had non-reusable BP cuffs. And same with separating waste. What kind of waste do you see as contagious? Which waste do you see as not contagious?
I have sensor activated energy.
Plastic for glass bottles.
The cleaning techniques are also, how do you clean it? Which product do you use? Is it acceptable from a patient point of view?
Plastic flacons, because plastic flacons have another waste incineration process with a lower temperature, with a lower time that it's in the incinerator. And it's on CO2 emissions, it's a big difference.
Okay. Okay, guys, we have submitted our idea. Now it's your turn. Okay, it's always strange to see yourself on a video, but anyway. But I wish to thank my colleague Nidal from OR. She was the actress, director, editor, camera woman. Actually, she did all on this video, so great thanks to her. Anyhow, how do you get started? It all starts with a good idea. You need a good idea to define a project, the project objectives and the methodology, of course. In a second step, you set a success measurement framework. What does that mean? How are you going to measure what? For instance, a good start is to gather all the waste from a certain type of procedure during a week or 2 weeks, or let's say 10 cholecystectomies that you gather the waste, and then you look at it in a critical way and you say, what is all this? What do we really need actually? Do we need everything that we used here? Can we separate the waste, or do we throw all together in one bag and incinerate it? That is something that you can measure. Next step is identify the risk management plan, because there are always some barriers or some walls you walk into. People are not always eager to change. They often don't see the point of it. So it's very, very important to explain every step that you make and why you do it, of course. Then select your team. Select your team, I mean, make sure that on every level there is someone that is joining your team. You need doctors, you need, for instance, anesthesiologist or a surgeon to back you up. Of course, you are nurses, but also somebody perhaps from pharmacy, or perhaps a quality coordinator and somebody from management, where you can, then you have on every level, you have somebody to support you. Prepare, of course, a cost analysis, of course, and then at the end, complete and submit the proposal. That's the easiest part. Now, how to apply for the fund? Well, this is really easy. Just go to the Ansell website. You see here the link to it. You go to the project fund and you submit your proposal. Of course, fill in the form that is already available on the webpage. And then you just click on the submit button, and there you are. Now it's just up to you. Just pick an idea, a good brainstorm, and that's the start of your project. If there are any questions, of course, please shoot.
So if anybody has any questions they would like to be addressed now, you can type them into the Q&A widget, and we can, with Catherine and Peter, answer them now. If not, certainly you can click on the Contact Us button and we can follow up with you direct. Maybe you want a little bit more support understanding how to pull it together, and we can supply that with an EORNA member, Ansell support as well, to make sure you're ready. So we'll give a few more moments for any questions to come through, but we do truly appreciate you all taking the time to be part of this session. You can find all of the resources, the step-by-step guide, the link to the web page, and our Sustainability Fund support email in that resources section. And if you'd like to learn more or get in touch with us, you click the Contact Me button and we can follow up. When the webinar closes, there will be the evaluation form, which, as I mentioned earlier, would be brilliant if you can fill out. Certainly, Catherine, really appreciated what you covered today, really set the scene of why it was important. It was a great insight. And Peter, yourself, your video, thoroughly enjoyed that one as well, and sort of helping explain how to maybe take what seems like a tough complex and simplify it down.
Perhaps, Josh, I would highlight the importance of this, what we are doing now, because a lot of colleagues perhaps don't realize that, for instance, in Belgium, 4% of the national waste comes from the hospitals, and 1/3 of the waste of the hospitals comes from the OR. So it's so important that we play a huge role in this sustainability project. One average surgery creates the waste of a family of 4 in 1 week. So if you take 50 average operations, for instance, in large hospitals, they do at least 40, 50 operations a day. That equalizes the waste of one family of 4 of a year. So just to point out the importance of sustainability in the OR.
I would support Peter here, and I think OR nurses can be initiative and take leadership in the changes because they are role models.
Yeah. We are not always aware of that, but we are indeed role models. And as you look around, in every newspaper, in every media, you see questions about sustainability, but and at home we separate things and waste and so on, but at work we also have to do this. We also have to do this.
Thank you, Peter. Thank you, Catherine. I think important note to finish on, and how really we all can be the champions of change of where we want to move to. So to everyone that's attended, thank you for your attention, your support, and certainly the door is open. If you've got more questions, you want follow-up, you need some support to explore a different idea or maybe be connected with someone, reach out and we will do our best to support. Have a great evening, have a great week, and look forward to seeing the submissions.
Hope for many.
I hope to see you in Dubrovnik on the Congress of EORNA in May.